The HOA fined me $500 because my trash can was visible from the street. But when I found out what they were hiding, the entire neighborhood turned against them. I live in a quiet suburban neighborhood. At least, it used to be quiet until the HOA decided to go on a power trip. Now, I usually keep to myself, pay my dues, mow my lawn, all that. But last summer, I came home from work to find a bright yellow envelope stuck to my door. It was a violation notice. Apparently, my trash can wasn't properly concealed. Mind you, it was tucked neatly by the side of my garage, like everyone else's. But of course, they singled me out. And I had a good idea who was behind it. Karen. Karen lives 2 houses down. She's the self-appointed watchdog of the HOA, even though she's not on the board. She loves to walk around with her little clipboard, peeking into everyone's yards, acting like she owns the block. So I knocked on her door, politely, and asked, "Hey, did you happen to report me for a trash can violation?" She didn't even hesitate. Karen smirked and said, "Well, rules are rules. If you don't like it, maybe this neighborhood isn't for you." That set me off. I told her I'd be talking to the HOA directly. But she laughed, literally laughed in my face, and said, "Good luck. They always back me up." Sure enough, when I emailed the HOA president, he basically copy-pasted the violation policy back at me, with a warning that further non-compliance may result in daily fines. At this point, I was furious. $500 for a trash can? And Karen was strutting around the neighborhood like she had just won a war. 2 weeks later, it got worse. I received another violation. This time, they claimed my fence was not the approved shade of brown. Let me tell you, my fence had been the exact same color for 5 years. Nobody cared until Karen decided she didn't like it. So I went digging. I pulled out the HOA bylaws, looked through every page, and guess what? There was no mention of trash cans needing to be hidden from the street. None. And the approved fence color? Turns out, the HOA president himself had a fence 2 shades lighter than mine. They weren't enforcing rules, they were targeting me. At this point, I decided I wasn't going to just roll over. I hired a lawyer friend to draft a letter. Nothing fancy, just a professional notice that unless they dropped the fines, I'd be taking them to small claims court for harassment and selective enforcement. And then, I attached photos. Photos of Karen's trash can, sitting in full view of the street. Photos of the HOA president's fence, completely out of compliance. I sent it to every board member and CC'd half the neighborhood. Suddenly, silence. A week later, I got another letter, this time, an official apology from the HOA. My fines? Dropped. My record? Cleared. But the best part? At the next HOA meeting, several neighbors showed up with their own complaints about Karen. Turns out, I wasn't the only one she'd been harassing. Within 2 months, Karen was voted OFF the neighborhood watch committee she had forced herself into, and the HOA president quietly resigned. And now, I keep my trash can wherever I want. So let me ask you, what would you have done if Karen was your neighbor? Drop your story in the comments, I love reading them. And if you enjoy seeing Karens and HOAs get what they deserve, hit that subscribe button. More American HOA stories are coming every day.